Good evening and welcome back to my biblical journey. It's been a strange week for me. I hope everybody's had a decent week. Mine had what felt like a bit of a breakdown midweek. I hadn't had good sleep. The kids had kept me up. And in the morning, my son decided to pee on the floor because he's just getting out that stage of using the potty and starting to use the toilet. And he peed on the floor and then decided that wasn't enough. He needed to upend milk into his pee, which after a night of not sleeping, already running a good 45-50 minutes late, I felt like rubbish because of a migraine from the previous day, and my nerves were pretty much shot. And I got into the car, went to drive them to school, and I just burst into tears. I was feeling at my lowest ebb, and I was speaking to my wife on the phone, and she was trying to settle me down, tried to convince me to go to work, which at that moment in time didn't go down very well with me. And all I wanted to do was just, not with the kids in the car obviously, but I just felt like I wanted to drive into a wall. I was that low. And at that moment in time, I was like thinking to myself, do you know what? No, that isn't me. I don't think that way. And even though I was tired, I mean, some people would put it down to being tired, but I don't like to think, but I think that what was working on me right at that point, when we're at our lowest ebb, and when we're at that point, we're probably the closest we're going to be to being allowed to be taken over or controlled by something else. And I think that was the enemy trying to weasel his way in and probably thinking to himself, I've got him at a weak point. He's making these videos, trying to make people aware of God and what have you, and this is my chance. So if that is what it is, I say no. No, you're not going to stop me. I'm going to keep going. So for all those that are supporting me, thank you. It's fantastic. Second video that I did has got nearly 500 views, which is phenomenal. So thank you, everybody. I hope you come back. I hope the one video wasn't enough to put you off forever. But yeah, as I said to some colleagues at work today, this is a raw and unedited channel. And I think, do you know what? I think I'm going to keep it that way. I think maybe we see enough of edited things on a day-to-day basis that are changed to deceive our perception of things. So this is not going to be edited. This is raw. This is what you're seeing is just me blabbering and reading passages and chapters from the Bible. And so without further ado, we will move on to Genesis 4. Then Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bore Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. I think it's a nice way of saying, made love to your wife, and I've got a little boy. I've gotten a man. I've gotten a little man. We all say that about our little boys. He's our little man. I've gotten a man from the Lord. And she bore again his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. It came to pass that Cain brought to the Lord an offering of the fruit of the ground, and Abel also brought of the firstlings of his flock, and of the fat of it. And the Lord had regard unto Abel and his offering. But he did not have regard unto Cain and his offering, and Cain was extremely angry, and his countenance fell. And the Lord said to Cain, Why are you so angry? And why has your countenance fallen? If you do well, shall you not be accepted? But if you do not do well, sin lies at the door. Its desire is for you, but you must rule over it. I think that's a nice way of sort of like saying, don't let it in, don't let sin in. You must rule over it. You're in control. We're all in control of it, guys. And even though it's very easy to sin, but it's in our hands. I sin probably on a daily basis, and I can only apologise. And pray for forgiveness. I mean, that's one of the great things that God has done for us. So, yeah. Anyway, moving on. I'm getting distracted. I'm going off on tangents. And Cain talked with his brother Abel, and it came to pass that when they were in the field, Cain rose up against his brother Abel and killed him. And the Lord said unto Cain, Where is your brother Abel? And he said, I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper? And he said, What have you done? The voice of your brother's blood cries to me from the ground. And now you are cursed from the earth, which opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you till the ground, it shall no longer yield its strength to you, and you shall be a wanderer and a fugitive upon the earth. And Cain said to the Lord, My punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, you have driven me out from the face of the earth today, and I shall be hidden from your face. And I shall be a fugitive and a wanderer in the earth. And it shall be that anyone who finds me shall kill me. So, from my understanding there is, like, obviously God for the first murder is punishing Cain severely, and he's taking away the one thing that he does. His thing is to tend the land and grow crops and what have you. So he's taking away the soil and how he can grow things, which is what he does. That's his life. So he's taken away his life for what he does because he has taken away Abel's life. That's my understanding of it. And saying that he will no longer, you'll be a wanderer and a fugitive upon this earth. So he's not going to be welcome anywhere, my understanding. So, and then in Cain saying that his punishment's greater than he can bear, and he will probably die at the hands of the first people that find him. And what's interesting is that we are talking about people there that are saying, and it shall be that anyone who finds me shall kill me. But from the previous books, we kind of figured out that we kind of figured out that Adam and Eve were the first people, and so if Cain and Abel are their first children, or did they have daughters or anything before? I'm not sure. But then he's saying that anyone who finds him shall kill him. But then that would go back to what I said at the very beginning, where it looks like other people were on this earth before Adam and Eve's Garden of Eden. Maybe someone can enlighten me in the comments or anything, because it's counteracting what is being said, which is, I think that was always going to be the case a little bit within in Genesis, but the concept's still there. He's taken away a life, so his life will be forfeit, but the punishment will be while he lives. So the Lord said to him, "Therefore, whoever kills Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold." And the Lord set a mark upon Cain, so that anyone who found him should not kill him. So does that mean that if someone attempts to kill him in vengeance, then worse will happen to him, but he can't be killed? Interesting. And Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and lived in the land of Nod, to the east of Eden. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bore Enoch. And he built a city and called the name of the city after the name of his son, Enoch. So again, this goes back to what I'm saying about there being other people. I mean, there are things online where I've seen that people say that Adam and Eve had plenty of other children, and it's either like a niece or a sister or something. But I'm not sure about that, because like if you were a niece or a sister, even taking into account that we're looking at a time period where the concept of incest is obviously not as it is today, which is like pretty but why would you as a niece or sister go with the guy that murdered Abel? Because if it's all part of the family at the moment, then I mean that doesn't make sense. What did this wife do that was so bad that she'd have to end up with him? So this is why I think that perhaps there were other people. Maybe not God's people. Maybe we're all God's people, but maybe they were not gifted in the same way that the family from the Garden of Eden were. That's my thoughts. We'll see. And so now he's built a city and called the name of the city after the name of his son Enoch. And Irad was born to Enoch, and Irad begat Mehujael, and Mehujael begat Methusael, and Methusael begat Lamech, and Lamech took 2 wives to himself. The name of the first one was Ada, and the name of the other was Zillah. And Ada bore Jabal. He was the father of those who dwell in tents and have livestock. And his brother's name was Jubal. He was the father of all those who corruptly play the lyre and the pipe. What does that mean? He was the father of all those who corruptly play the lyre and the pipe. Sorry, I need to look this up because this is interesting. Lyre and pipe. Pipe and lyre. So the lyre is a musical instrument, and the pipe. Fascinating notes that just 8 generations from creative cultures blossoming. Lyre and pipe. So it's so the pipe is what we'd imagine sort of like a flute instrument, and the lyre is a bit like what is that? It's like a strange guitar harp cross, like an early guitar. So what made it corruptly? Was music banned? Was it not appreciated? Interesting. And Zillah also bore Tubal-Cain, an instructor of every craftsman in bronze and iron, and the sister of Tubal-Cain was Naamah. And Lamech said to his wife Ada and Zillah, "Hear my voice, wives of Lamech. Hearken to my words, for I have killed a man because he wounded me, a young man because he hurt me. For if Cain is avenged 7 times, then truly Lamech is avenged 77 times." And Adam knew his wife again, and she bore a son, and called his name Seth. For she said, "God has appointed me another seed in place of Abel, whom Cain killed." And there was also a son born to Seth, and he called his name Enos. At that time men began to call upon the name of the Lord. Okay, so that's the end of Genesis 4. Sorry, there was a lot of interruptions there, but there's a lot going on. So looking at the end of this, we've seen that Adam and Eve have had another child, which is Seth. But has that happened after this entire generation of children from Cain? I was reading the other day that like the actual ages of Adam and Eve and the descending family is increasingly old in years. Now, either that's one of two things is going on there. Either we are misinterpreting the number of years that they're living for based on our knowledge of calendar and time, or because these are the children of God, the ones that He has made specially, that were originally to tend His garden. Maybe these had additional length life. Their life was super extended because they had that extra, I don't know, God gene, maybe, I don't know, I'm maybe making up words and names there, but because then that would make more sense. Because if, I mean, I read that the first child Cain to Adam and Eve was when Adam was 130. Now, I can't imagine even reaching 100, let alone 130, then having a kid, and then, yeah. But allegedly he lived to like 930 years of age. If that's the case, wow. But it would also make sense to some of these other things that we hear in the Bible later on, where some of these people have had exceptionally long lives. I mean, the length of time, I mean, if they had multiple children in that time, it would sort of like more explain how populating the area, but part of me still thinks that like when Cain leaves for the land of Nod, even though whenever I say that I think of bed, because I'd say I'm off to the land of Nod. I think that there must have been other people. Maybe, does anyone know? I mean, nobody really knows, but if anyone knows of like texts, ooh, can't even say it, any texts that can corroborate any of it, I mean, that would be amazing, just to sort of like try and marry it up a little bit. But yeah, there's a lot going on in that chapter. So after that we will be moving on to Genesis 5. I will try and do it a little bit quicker, maybe the same length of time. What do you think? Is a good length of time sort of like the number of days in between. Maybe it is. Really, it's when I've got time. I try to make time for it because I'm actually enjoying it. It's something that I'm getting into a lot. I'm appreciating the feedback that I'm receiving from a lot of you that are watching it. And it's nice to see that by me doing this, people are starting to talk about their faith a bit more. And you know, I think that's something that we're all guilty of. We've bottled it down for such a long time because there's like this stigma to it. It's like, oh, Christian faith, I'm an atheist, blah, blah, blah. Okay, if you're an atheist, that's fine. But, you know, we as Christians believe in something. And I don't belittle you for not believing something. It's totally your right and totally your, you know, it's what you're able to do. It's what all of us are able to do. It's free will. It's something that we decide ourselves. It's like, yes, we can go to Sunday school as a child and maybe that's how we get into things, but maybe each and every one of us need to find our own path. And I feel like that's something that I'm doing now. So to each and every one of you, if you watched it this far, if you're enjoying what I'm saying, find your path. God's watching over all of us. And he's not giving us anything more difficult than we can actually handle. He's not giving us anything more than we can actually handle. We can handle this. I know that every single one of us has been through the mire at some point, but we're still here. And we're still ticking on. We can keep going because we have the Lord behind us. And even to those that don't believe, he is there waiting for you. So if my words do anything, if they do anything to anyone that helps them look into the Bible, look into talking to someone, just talking about it, then I feel that it doesn't matter how many views I get, doesn't matter how many likes I get or anything. That is nothing into what it would mean for someone to open up about this. I'm not a priest, I'm not a preacher, I'm just a guy that is trying to do what I can to get the word out. And if talking to me helps, then I'm a very happy man. So that's where we'll end it. We'll go into Genesis 5 next time, and God bless and good night.